Hello, I'm Paul Cross. I'm with the Cross team at KW Commercial. KW Commercial is the commercial arm of Keller Williams, and Keller Williams is currently the biggest real estate company in North America. Our aim at Cross team is basically to provide leasing, selling, buying, and development solutions, all tailored to each specific project. Our main focus is working with healthcare professionals, with the idea that we create the best facilities for their patients. We also include investment advice and guidance so that we can help physicians in their broader outlook, because many of them do like to get into investing in one form or another. So that means that we have knowledge, or we have to have knowledge, of all sorts of different forms of commercial, which would include land, multifamily, strip centres, and all kinds of office and retail facilities. So going into some of those items then, starting with leasing, Cross Team can handle either tenant or landlord representation. Many healthcare professionals actually choose to lease rather than buy as part of their business function. So we help them by identifying appropriate locations, negotiating lease rates, negotiating what kinds of amenities they're going to have, parking, signage, and so on. And then we cooperate with their attorney to make sure we get the very best possible lease set up for them. So as a realtor, I'm not permitted to create a lease, but I certainly very well understand them. I see them every day. So I usually cooperate with the client and then with their attorney to get the best lease structured. Some doctors actually like to buy a bigger building than they really need, and then they'll lease out a portion of the building. So then we can advise on what sort of lease rates make sense, what market rates there are. Excuse me. Find tenants, negotiate lease conditions, and assist them with building management as well, if it's required. So some examples of this that I have going on at the moment would be a lease for a 5,000 square foot space at the moment. This is going to be including a waiting room, reception, nurses station, several procedure rooms, exam rooms, and so on. So we can cooperate in the design of that space, and then as we're working with them, we can help them both through the architecture, the design, and the layout in terms of what sort of flow they're going to need, both the flow for the physicians and the flow for the patients, so that we can maintain very efficient flow, but also maintain HIPAA compliance, which can be an issue when you have people walking around within a space. Another example of a lease where this would be a landlord representation. I'm working with a physician at the moment who has 1,800 square feet available. It was previously leased by another physician. This is rather a nice space. It's already set up, it has exam rooms, it has the plumbing in the rooms that's necessary. But better than that, they have a shared waiting area with the other company that's there at the moment. And that company is an urgent care centre, so they have things like X-ray and a lab. So if we bring a physician into that 1,800 square feet, they can have extra amenities that they can use as part of the facility for them, for their use. Leaving leasing behind for a moment, coming on to selling and buying, we have experience in all kinds of commercial property, including obviously medical buildings, then office, warehouse, retail, multifamily, strip centres, and land. Each category has its own set of requirements and a glossary. So we in the commercial world like to be able to bamboozle people with these great words. So I kind of I understand what those words are and what they mean. So I can act as the go-between between my clients and the other commercial people who are out there in the different parts of the commercial world, and help them understand what all these different things mean. So we guide our clients in their investment strategy. We can help them understand the nuances of each property type and what's the best way to invest in it, what to expect in terms of returns and that kind of thing. And then obviously we use our experience and skill to obtain the best possible selling or buying price. So again, some examples would be, I'm working with a company at the moment, a medical products company. They're going to be buying a 15,000 square foot warehouse. So the bamboozle terms in warehousing are things like dock high and roll up doors and eave height versus roof height and those kinds of things. And I can help the products company understand, what does this mean for you? How is it going to be easiest for you to be able to move your product into and out of the warehouse? What space will you have? Can you run a forklift inside the warehouse? What height will you be able to stack to? How much can you actually store, and so on. Another example might be a physician I'm working with who over the years has done a lot of real estate investment. She has now asked me to help her sell some land that she has, and she has 3 different pieces of land. One of them would be very good for actually a vehicle sales operation. It's about 6.5 acres. It's on a very well-traveled road, which would be a great location for vehicle sales. Another one down in Brandon would be great for medical building. So I can look at that in terms of how we could sell it for use as a medical facility. And then the last one is in Wesley Chapel, and that one could be mixed use or retail or what have you. So it has a variety of potential uses. On the buyer side, I'm working with a couple of different position groups at the moment. One is just working with the company that's actually going to build the building and working with their architect, who has plenty of skills in terms of developing medical products. The other one, by chance, is working with the same company to build his building, but he's an optometrist and he's gone to an outside design company because his plan is to have the absolute best possible facility that he can have. So again, I'm accommodating and cooperating and working with him to make sure that his design company can have their designs go into this particular building that he wants to have. Last thing that we work on is development. So we help people develop from scratch. So for medical building development, we've developed a team of specialists that includes architects, engineers, general contractors, civil engineers, environmental specialists, and so on. So things to consider: when you start from scratch, you have to start with the land. So you're going to have to look at the environmental, geological, civil engineering, and zoning and land use for the land. And this takes a long time, it's complicated. And probably not many physicians or other people really understand all that's involved. So my job is to make sure that I bring them to the right people so that we get the land properly checked out before they pay for it and proceed forward. Then we get into the building itself. So now we're looking at the layout, the design, architectural plans, approvals, finishes, etc. And usually approval takes a period of time. And again, a lot of people don't understand why these delays creep in. So between planning what a building looks like and then getting those plans approved by the county or the city or what have you can take a long time. I can help them understand how to get that done in the best possible way, make sure the plans are set up correctly for the approval process. And again, I do that through working with a team of really top specialists that I've managed to bring together over the years. Then we get into the interior, how it flows, flooring, lighting, networking, cabinetry, and so on, electrical. Many of these things can be very special in the environment of a medical building. They need different flooring very often, the electrical needs to be different, and there's things to accommodate. You know, if they want to have an X-ray, there's going to have to be special wiring. There may have to be lead lining and those kinds of things. So these are all part of what I'm aware of, and again, that I can bring specialists in. Right now I'm working with a physician. We purchased some land. I helped him buy some land just over a year ago. And he's going to proceed now. He's finally at the point where he's getting his plans ready to build a 20,000 square foot building. He's going to use a very small part of that. So working with him, I'm going to be helping him design and lay out and get the building constructed, but then I'll be leasing the building for him. So basically, in conclusion, my team, the cross team, have built a team of contractors meeting all sorts of specific and different and varied requirements in the process of real estate as a whole. And we feel that, especially working with physicians, we can bring a really outstanding level of building for them. Thank you.